Welcome to the Unapologetic Man Podcast, the only podcast that's all about self-improvement, confidence, success, women, and being a man without making any apologies for it.
Are you so horny that you'd fuck a snake if you could hold it straight? Did you go to Walmart last weekend and buy a papaya and a power drill? And the kid checking you out, a 17-year-old guy wearing a World of Warcraft t-shirt, glanced at you with a knowing smile and gave you a slight nod? Could you not get laid even if you were in a Tijuana whorehouse with $100 bills strapped to your penis? If any of these are the case for you, brother, I got your back. Today, we are going to talk about RCR, an absolutely potent attraction building technique that is going to make women actually attracted to you, where they jump right into the air and slide right onto your dick. Just say this one thing, brother. She's going to jump in the air, boo, the panties will fly off and slide right onto your dick. That's how effective this is. Before I jump into the content, brothers, want to read a quick testimonial? Yep, I got another one. Just soared into my inbox today. This is from my boy, Christian. I'll read it real quick and then we'll jump into the content. And this, by the way, is about my 3-month coaching program, which Christian just graduated from. Hey, Mark. First off, I want to say it was a pleasure working with you and the brotherhood throughout the program. The content works, and I know for a fact that any guy can use it to turn his life around and become successful with women. Because of this program, I've turned from a man barely able to hold eye contact with a woman, let alone talk to her, to a man regularly approaching chicks, holding great conversations with them, and nabbing dates left and right each week with super high quality girls. And I've seen some of the pictures, boys. Christian, you're killing it, bro. So proud of you. He continues on. Even more importantly, my confidence has skyrocketed. NLP was an absolute game changer here, and I found myself a happier and more alive person after just these 3 short months. With the content in your words of wisdom, I can't wait to see how much farther I can progress and keep improving my game and my life. I appreciate you so much, man. Love, Christian. Thank you very much for that, Christian. Gentlemen, real quick before I jump into the content, I watched a short documentary last night about people's best decisions they made when they were old. So they were old, they were retired, and they were actually multimillionaires. And they're like, what was the best decision I ever made? Each of them said the best decision they ever made was investing in themselves and focusing on their relationships. So I hate to kind of put those two things together to try to convince you to come into my program, but I don't hate it because I'm so convinced that this program will absolutely change your life that if you invest in yourself, which those millionaires say they really, really appreciate that they did that. If you come into my program, you will 1, invest in yourself, and 2, be able to build relationships with extremely high quality women, have a family that you can be proud of and get to your deathbed nodding your head with approval that you had the courage, the balls, the intestinal fortitude to invest in yourself when it mattered most. And I'll tell you what, getting girls, having relationships, finding the love of your life, I can't think of investments that are much more worth it than that. So I'm available to you, man. If you want to get the same results as Christian, go to my website, click on coaching, fill in the quick application, and you and I will get on a free one-on-one breakthrough session together to talk about if you're a good fit for my program, but more importantly, if I can get you to your most ostentatious, audacious goals with women, whatever they may be. Tell me your biggest dream, man, and I'll tell you if I could get you there. Hit me up right now, CoachMarkSing.com, click on coaching, fill in the quick application, and you and I will get on that call together. All right, gentlemen, RCR, what is this? It stands for reverse cold reading. Reverse cold reading, RCR. And really it should be called RCR to bait qualification. So I'm going to have to lay down a bunch of the fundamental principles of what this includes. And then I'm going to tell you at the end how to use it on girls, but you're going to get tons of techniques leading up to that. So definitely make sure to stay tuned until the end. All right, so the first thing we need to define is cold reading. This is a ridiculously powerful way to get girls insanely attracted to you, and you basically read something about them. So you're basically like a psychic making a prediction about them, telling them something about their personality that they haven't told you specifically. You're just reading it. And the reason it's called cold is because you don't have a lot of information. You're just kind of throwing it out there. Now, the cool thing about cold reading is when you say these things, almost every single girl just eats it up. So for example, the one I always use, and literally this is just the only one you need, steal this from me, use it on the next girl, she's gonna freaking eat it up. You tell her one side of her is one way and the other side of her is the other way. Pretty basic, right? But they freaking love it, bro. Catnip. Jump in the air, backflip, panties come off, right onto your dick, dude. Throw away the power drill, throw away the papaya, throw away that snake you just bought from the pet store, which you've been trying to hold straight so you can fuck it. You don't need that anymore, man. Cold reading. Okay, so I tell girls all the time, you know what, as I'm sitting here talking to you, Kelly, you have this really amiable personality, right? You're really agreeable. You're really easy to talk to. You seem like a really nice person. Is that true? Of course, boys. She's going to say, of course that's true. And then I say, well, despite you being a really nice person, I bet deep on the inside, you're not to be fucked with, huh? Like if somebody broke your best friend's heart, like a guy just completely ruined your best friend, you'd kick his door down, throw a Molotov cocktail into his kitchen, and kick the dude square in the nuts as he ran out of his house crying, wouldn't you? And she laughs and she says yes. Okay, so you either tell her that the outside of her is very tough, and I'll do this often when girls are kind of being bitchy to me, throwing me lots of frame checks, when they're challenging me a lot, I'll be like, you know, you have this whole like tough girl exterior, like clearly you don't take any shit. But I bet deep inside, you're probably the most honest, genuine person, huh? Like your best friend, you'd do anything for her, wouldn't you? Who wouldn't say yes to that? So what you're doing is you're cold reading something about her that she essentially wants to hear. Okay, everybody wants to hear something about them. It's like the big ripped dude who walks into a psychic and the psychic is like, showing my crystal ball that you were a Spartan in a past life. What is a Spartan? He's like, oh, that's like a great warrior. Well, that's what I'm seeing that you were, and you were the leader of those wars. I was? Oh, here's $100. Tell me more, right? These freaking slapjacks, these sea donkeys will believe anything when you just tell them what they want to hear. So cold reading, once again, is one side of you is one way, the other side of you is the other way. Like, bro, as you're listening to this podcast, I can tell you really have a good attention span and you're really into self-development and you really want to improve yourself, right? Yeah. Okay, well, I also know that just kind of by looking at you, I can tell that sometimes you slip a little bit. Like sometimes you party a little bit too much. You're sometimes a little bit lazy and you don't really indulge in the self-development, do you? And you're going to be like, oh my God, MarkSing, you're psychic. No, I'm not. Everybody's like that, you fucking sea donkey. It's just girls eat it up when you tell them this. So use that, okay? Cold reading. Now, qualification, okay? So when I say RCR, it's reverse cold reading, and I'm going to tell you how to do that in a second. But what we're doing is we're baiting like a fish, right? You're bait fishing a qualification. A qualification is basically her explaining herself to you. Now, qualifying a girl is extremely important. And if you're not getting phone numbers, this may be one of the missing reasons that you're not pulling phone numbers. Or if a chick doesn't text you back, this is probably the reason, is because you're not qualifying them. You're not giving them a chance to sell themselves to you. Because as humans, we appreciate what we fight for. That's why, for example, if you have a really dope pair of sunglasses, right, that you worked really hard for, they were like $1,000, let's say, and you sit on them, you're going to be way more bummed out than if somebody just gave them to you. And this actually happened to me, dude. I wear Per Sol sunglasses. I highly suggest you guys check them out. Super fashionable. Kind of has that like 1950s/60s kind of Mad Men look to it. Dude, they're badass. So I'm at a freaking picnic and I send them down on my seat. And then my daughter almost gets attacked by a dog. So I slide in there and I freaking throw the dog out of the way and I grab my daughter and I'm like, it's okay. And I sit down on my goddamn sunglasses. So I break these things, but I'm like, yo, break yourself. I'm just going to buy myself a new pair. So as I get that pair, I really want to appreciate them because they're expensive and I had to work a lot in order to get those sunglasses. Well, it's the same thing with women. If they're selling themselves to you, then they're working for you, aren't they? And if they're working for you, they have to convince themselves subconsciously that they actually like you more than they might actually like you. And this is called qualifying. In fact, this is the fourth pillar of what I call the 4 pillars of attraction, which I teach in my 3-month coaching program. This is the fourth pillar. It's qualifying. Questions like, what would your best friend say is the coolest thing about you? What's your best quality? What do you like most about yourself? Why are you wearing that? Like, why are you wearing that outfit right now? If she explains herself to you, she's getting more attracted to you. Now I want to give you a little bit of a test. If a girl drives to your city from her city, which is 30 minutes away, in order to meet you for like a Tinder date or whatever it may be, do you think that's good or bad? You're absolutely right. That's good because she's putting energy into coming to see you. So whenever you have a Tinder date and you guys like live 30 minutes away or whatever, do what you can to try to get her to your city. Tell her that there's this amazing restaurant that she's going to absolutely love and you go there every Thursday night. She has to come down. Trust me, it's going to be worth it. Okay, because if you can get her to come down, it's going to make her sell you to herself, really is what's happening. And in psychology, that's called cognitive dissonance. And through cognitive dissonance, she's actually liking you more than she would have liked you if you drove up to her place. Isn't this counterintuitive? Like you guys think, dude, if I go drive to her place, take her to a $500 dinner, wine and dine her, compliment her, buy her a shower of flowers, she's going to suck my dick. Ain't going to happen. The reason why you bought that snake, which is now in an incubator in your room, and later tonight, after you listen to this podcast, you're going to try to hold it straight so you could fuck it, is because you've been doing all these things wrong. And trust me, bro, Tendo, I've done these things wrong too, and this is how I learned. I learned the hard way, which was, why am I putting all this effort into these chicks? Let's have them fight for me a little bit, which is what the fundamental pillar of attraction, the fourth pillar, qualifying, is all about, having her work for you. Now, based on that, let me ask you this. She cooks for you, good or bad thing? That's right, it's a good thing. She gives you a massage, good or bad thing? That's right, it's a good thing. She helps you move, good or bad thing? That's right, it's a good thing. Now, of course, as all things go, there's a diminishing level of return here, where if you ask too much and you look like a taker, then she's going to lose respect for you and probably break it off with you. But most of you guys don't ask for anything. Like literally, you don't have her sell herself to you. You don't learn about her at all. So she's wondering, why does this guy like me? You don't ask her for favors. You're just like giving. Now, I like to be a giver, but when it comes to women, it needs to be reciprocated. Like I'm talking one for one. And this goes into what I call hoop theory. I'm not going to get into it on this episode. I think I've talked about it in the past. I definitely teach heavily on it in my coaching program, but we're always one for one, right? We want her working for us. Okay, so back to RCR. RCR, again, means reverse cold reading to Bates qualification. Now you're a genius. You know what cold reading is. Do you remember? That's right. You're a smart motherfucker. One side of her is one way, the other side of her is the other way. Very basic. Or you just read something about her and you make an assumption, right? So she's like dreadlocked out, freaking Rastafari beanie cap on, and a goddamn purse that's made out of tree bark. You could be pretty damn sure that she's into the environment. She's a hippie, bro. She's a soap dodger, a freaking tree hugger. So you make predictions based on that, which I'm going to get into in a second. Okay, so we understand what cold reading is. We understand what qualification is. So reverse cold reading to bait qualification is exactly that. You're doing a reverse cold read on her. Now, I know a lot of you guys are a little thick-headed now. I know the attention span is about 4 minutes and 30 seconds with some of y'all, but I want you to really focus, man. All right, so reverse cold reading is saying that you don't like, focus, man, come on now. Come on, focus. 15 more seconds. You can do this. You don't like the opposite of what she is. Okay, so going back to the soap dodger, right? She's got the dreadlocks. She's got so much armpit hair, it looks like she has that drummer for the Roots, Questlove, in a headlock. Okay, she's got a damn purse made of tree bark, and her shoes are made out of recycled pizza boxes because she's so into the environment. All right, so you detect that she's a hippie. She's obviously super into the environment. So you say you don't like the opposite of that. Now watch the genius of this. So I'm talking to the soap dodger, right? And sometimes, these hippie chicks can be pretty hot. So don't think I'm ripping on them, man. I've dipped into a couple myself. Down there's a little bit, no comment, man. But the cleanliness, do what you want, bro. Like, I'm not judging you, but I dipped in a few times and I'm out, dude. I'll never do it again, right? That's why you do the flyby. The old karate chop maneuver, right up in there. And then you very stealthily kind of smell your hand to make sure it passes the check. Hey, we're dudes. That's really important to us. So anyway, what was my damn point? I'm really rambling today. Oh yeah. So you see that she's a soap dodger. So you say to her, dude, I was driving over to the nightclub today, and literally this guy throws this entire bag of McDonald's trash onto the freeway. Seriously, if we were at a stop sign, I would have picked up that thing and shoved it back in his face. I hate people who litter like that. Okay, now you see what I'm doing, boys. I'm baiting a qualification, baiting her to say, oh, I'm not like that. I'm actually really into the environment. You can see here by my recycled pizza box shoes that I really care about the environment. I care about recycling, and I would never litter. And then what I do is I congratulate her. I'm like, are you serious? That's actually really cool. You just went up 20 points in my book. You are now at negative 80. Congratulations. Ha ha ha. Okay, so you read something about her. You say you don't like the opposite. Then she's going to jump through your hoop and basically qualify herself, which again means sell herself to you and tell you why she's not that way. Okay, girls who are at the nightclub, but you can tell they don't really like to be at the nightclub. And this happens all the time, by the way, with bachelorette parties. I'll always approach bachelorette parties because there's usually at least a couple really hot girls in there who aren't really the club type girls. They're usually of higher quality. And there's always, literally every single night I go out, there's some kind of bachelorette party. How do you know it's a bachelorette party? Because, bro, they're literally wearing penis necklaces or like drinking from penis straws. Like, it's the weirdest thing with bachelorette parties. They love these like penis apparel. There's more penises at a bachelorette party than there are penises at a World of Warcraft symposium, bro. It's just all fucking penises all day long. So I can identify it. So what I'll do is I'll go up, I'll start chatting up one of the chicks that I can tell she's just not like a typical club girl. And I'll look around, I'll be like, this club's pretty cool. I like the music, but I just don't really like those club girls, girls that go out a lot and like drink and they're always at the nightclubs, always at the bars. I'm really not into that. And she's like, well, I'm not that way. I'm actually professional, blah, blah, blah. The more she sells herself to me, the more she's getting attracted to me. So it's reverse cold reading. You see something about her that you know is true, and then you say you don't like the opposite. When you say that, you let the conversation drop, let her jump in, explaining herself to you. And if you could ask her a few more questions based on that to continue her explaining herself to you, all the more powerful. Okay, so she's like, oh, I'm not like that. I'm actually a professional. I work in an office or some shit. And I'll be like, oh yeah, so you don't just like party all the time? Like, when did you stop partying? She's gonna be like, oh, I stopped partying when I was like 23. I'll be like, oh, that's cool. Are you into health too? Because I don't get along with chicks who aren't really healthy. No, I'm totally healthy. I shop at this place. I do that. I'm even thinking about growing out my dreadlocks, having Questlove in a headlock, and having pizza boxes as recycled shoes. And I'll be like, no, that's a little too far now. A little too far, but that's cool that you're really into health. I actually really like that about you. You just went up 10 points in my book. You're now at negative 3,648 million. Congratulations. High five. She's like, shut up. Hits you in the arm. Attraction is there. God, this is powerful. No more fucking that snake if you could hold it straight. No more papaya and hand drills, and no more World of Warcraft conventions for you, my bro. You are about to get laid with that technique, as well as the myriad of other techniques that I teach a little bit in this podcast, but more specifically in my 3-month coaching program. If you want to be like Christian and finally get this part of your life settled once and for all, you and I need to meet. And I'm no hard closer salesman guy. I'm honestly super genuine about it. All I want to do is help dudes, and I will say no to certain guys. And I have said no to many guys who I knew I couldn't help. But if I could help you, I will 100% guarantee I could help you and tell you exactly what it's going to take to get you there, how much work's required, what you're going to have to do, and whether or not I think it's realistic for you to get there in the time frame that you want to get there. And I'm going to tell you straight up. And if I say yes to you, I am 100% guaranteeing you that you will get those results with women. So why not get on a free call with me and find out? It makes no sense to me that every single one of you guys aren't applying. Now, obviously, there's certain prerequisites that you have to meet before I'll meet with you. One of which is you have to show commitment. You have to reply to my emails in 24 hours. I obviously have to like your answers to the point where I actually think I could help you. If I could tell from your answers that there's no way I could help this dude, then we're not going to get on the phone. So why don't you just apply, be completely honest, and we'll see what happens. I mean, why not, right? It's a free breakthrough session. Go to my website, CoachMarkSing.com. Read the 100 plus testimonials. Christian's testimonial I will add in a few weeks. Once I gather a few more to add to the absolute scroll, the endless scroll of testimonials on my website. And if everything looks good to you, apply. You and I will get on that one-on-one call together. Gentlemen, I do appreciate you listening. I drop podcasts on Mondays and Thursdays. Go take the power drill back, bro. Go return that papaya to Walmart and go ahead and return that poor snake, man. He doesn't want to get fucked by you. And no, he's not going to let you hold him straight. He's a snake. He's going to constantly bend. You're not going to be able to get it in. So stop trying, man. I know it's been your dream. I know you fantasize about it, but relax, bro. I'm going to help you get an actual woman in your bed. And not only just a woman, not some sea donkey that you're going to take because you can't do any better, but an actual woman who you are super attracted to, who you've been fantasizing about for years and some of you even decades. If you just sign up with me, I could get you to that point. I do appreciate you listening. I will see you in the next episode.